The rebuke of the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid animated movie, and the movies generally, it's just so overblown. I'm surprised too, believe me, but I can't deny what's staring me straight in the face. I was sitting on the couch with some friends looking for some Christmas slop, and we put on The Last Straw as a bit, the animated one, and we thought we were going to turn it off in a second, but we ended up watching another. And another, and listen, they're not that bad. I can actually, kind of enjoy them. I did enjoy them, to a fair and great extent, and I feel like some explanation is in order. I'm Eliza Faust, and welcome to another YouTube cash grab. The biggest critique that I've seen is that it's just lifeless compared to the originals, but this is a pernicious and agonizing lie. People set up this argument by slicing a scene with a mirroring scene from the other, and it's just deceptive. The plots of these films are, fundamentally different. So yes, individual reactions throughout the story might be subdued at points throughout the story, but the stories are different. So to be coherent with the actual text the characters reside within and the performances reside within, they gotta be more subdued. Sometimes, yeah. The performances sometimes have to be different, and you're just gonna have to get used to that. And moments from the original films are so ingrained through meme culture that the discrepancy itself is kind of sort of seen as a flaw rather than just another aspect of the text. Discrediting the work on this point alone is a total disservice to one's own inner curiosity, and I don't respect it. You may say, Eliza, overall, the characters are still just a bit more wooden. And although I do believe the characters are overall more toned down, I think the characterization throughout the story matches these deliveries and performances, and I think that everyone did a great job with it, honestly. It feels more like the actual world that the characters from the books would inhabit when removed from Greg Heffley's strict point of view. It's still a cartoon, and that lets them get crazy with the premise, but they also just, make everyone sort of likable. And, they are doing creative changes here, but I think it works. They're all just likable. I love all the characters into this. It just makes it seem so much more wholesome and enjoyable to watch, especially over the holidays. There are 2 Christmas specials out, and I like them a lot. As far as Christmas slop goes, this is some of the creamiest in all of the land. I watched the Roderick Rules film too, and I thought the changes were mostly pretty great. I still haven't seen the original film adaptation, but I plan on watching it later. I like these movies, and I know not all will like these changes, especially the ones done to the characters, but rambunctiousness alone does not a story make. The books knew it, the original films knew it, and so do these ones. The core of Diary of a Wimpy Kid is its well-defined characters and their relationships with each other playing out in a ludicrous cascade of failed ploys filtered through the perception of its egoist narrator and protagonist. His name is Greg. This is a good formula. The books are still going, and I imagine they'll keep going, but readers age out of the books, and not everyone was, in the target demo whenever they were coming out in the first place, and people felt like they needed to broaden the audience, and it had potential to do that, and the potential was within a live-action film, and they did that. They did that. They did a great job. I'm not denying that. No one's going to deny that. I will say the requirements of that format necessitated a change in that original formula. The original live-action films deviated from the books by interpreting Greg's narration as a sort of loose framing device, kind of like a cosmic gumbo, and treating the camera as an omnipotent observer and using its expressive quality to enhance each film itself rather than being a direct line to Greg's perception and how he would like his perception to then be perceived. The films also have a level of narrative structure and growth from the protagonist, which they would have to make sense as a family film and comedy, but it's a big deviation from the book. In the books, it's mostly like these static characters. It's kind of like a sitcom. It's like Seinfeld, and I really do mean that. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid books are a lot like Seinfeld. The narrative changes to the format to appeal to the general audience of family film. Forced a lot of changes to be made in adaptation, and although I honestly think that most of them were quite good and the adaptations were really all quite good, the changes are worth being aware of. The fact remains that the formula was challenged through a difficult filter of adaptation, and it worked. For a while, I mean, the realities of casting real people for literal cartoon characters influence the story, yes, but also it sets up a ticking clock. You can't ever escape the comforting wash of time, not even if you're a film star. Actors age, and this is unsustainable for characters that don't. Recasting became needed, and the internet revolted against it. I remember what happened with the Not My Roderick. I remember what happened to the reaction to The Long Haul, and you know what? That movie did suck. The live-action movie came out, and we hated it. I still hate it. It ruined the red box dinners I'd have with my mom and my half-siblings, and yeah, it was terrible. I saw it, like you did, the natural and ugly end of the film formula. It died in front of us. These animated feature films are honestly the future of the franchise. And I know it's different, but it's all kind of heartwarming. Like, these movies are enjoyable. I enjoyed the changes of the plot that they made. It flows very well and in very unexpected and delightful ways. It's a great way to shake things up for the old fans and give new and younger fans a chance to get into the franchise without giving too much away from the books or from the other movies. They're also just like an hour each, which is the perfect pacing. The two Christmas ones were also great holiday films. I'd watch them again next year. There's this one scene of Roderick eating Greg's Wanted poster, and it's honestly so funny, I could disappear. I love this family. I love all the characters in it. I love Susan. In real life, I think she'd be my friend. I honestly love the animation too. I know some people might shit on me for it, but I love the animation. I feel like it captures the world fairly, and they do some really cool stuff with the plot using the freedom of the medium. It's really funny. Just give it a chance. If I weren't a homeless transsexual estranged from my family, I would definitely tell my mom about these new movies. I feel bad that my half-siblings had such a dismal introduction to the franchise. I hope they get to experience these films. But you know what? The verdict is already in. Before anyone actually takes the time to get to know these films, the verdict is in. As a homeless transsexual estranged from my family, I know the feeling. All in all, the negative reaction from these animated features are unfairly just projections put onto it. I think the live-action movie, the last one, left a real bad taste in everyone's mouth, so people are hesitant to engage with this new stuff, even though it did nothing wrong. I know I was. I made up my mind before watching these films. I thought that they would be stupid. I thought I'd turn them off. I was watching it to make fun of it. I didn't have a clue. I was a fool. I failed to consider these works in their own right. Call it divine intervention, because life forced me to be one day more humbled. I do love slop, I'll admit it, but I know slop. This is a fantastic example of slop done right. And maybe it's even something more. You know, the old movies will always exist, but the context in which they were made has already faded into memory. Let's accept it. Time has passed, and we're older now, and no, we're not kids anymore, and yes, that is a good thing. When I watched these movies, although I enjoyed it, I was struck by the sensation that I was no longer watching it in the way I would have as a kid. I viewed it analytically, and I imagined how family in my own life would engage with it, younger siblings, how they would engage with it. It's for them now. I think a lot of what people actually hate about these films and why they splice the scenes together just nakedly, without the context, is because they're not really engaging with the films at all. They're engaging with what the films represent. The passing of time and the inability to cope with that. A mob destruction of the symbolic trigger temporarily alleviates the problem and gives some catharsis, especially with the group aspect of it all. But externalizing this fear onto children's media is ultimately unhelpful and kind of weird. I think it's time for these people to pass the baton and pass down whatever we can and just hope some of the magic carries over. The original movies were funny, but that part's over now, and it's okay. It's over. And it's never coming back. Unless they do a modern day movie, it would be pretty well received probably and make a ton of money. A total cash grab. Speaking of money, I would actually really like some. Subscribe if you don't want me to die. Like if you do want me to die. Or also if you don't want me to die. This week's featured comment is... Comment for a chance to be featured on the next video. Or just let me know you made it this far. Or don't. I'm not your mother. Merry Christmas. Free Palestine. Fuck ICE.